Phil Parkinson has a massive task at hand going into our first game of the championship season, and that task is he has to pick a starting 11 for our big opening day fixture away at recently relegated side Premier League Southampton. It's going to be a tough task for him, and today I'm going to be putting myself in his shoes and picking my starting 11. It's going to be a big ask. It was a very tough decision to pick 11 players to come into obviously the starting 11 for the opening game. We've seen loads of signings at the club. We've seen players obviously sign last season and have really good second half of the season, so there's competition in every single area of the pitch, and like I said, it was a tough ask to just pick 11 players to field on that pitch. Before we get into today's video, if you're looking for the best Wrexham AFC content, it's coming your way on the channel. If you look down there and see you haven't subscribed, if you could do so, it would be massively appreciated. This is your home, this is your hub for all the best Wrexham content coming your way on YouTube. Let's as well go for a like target today. Let's see if we can hit 550 likes on today's video, and let's get talking about my team selection. Starting off in goal now, it's probably the easiest choice I've had to make in the whole of the starting 11, Arthur Okonkwo. Now, with the signing of Danny Ward and of course Callum Burton returning back from injury, I think there'll possibly be a slightly bit more amount of pressure on Arthur Okonkwo, as they're two keepers that will of course be hungry and wanting to take that number one spot off Arthur Okonkwo. But I think given his performances last season and over the whole of his time at Wrexham Football Club, I don't think you can drop Arthur Okonkwo, especially on the opening day of the season. Of course, if we're looking at his shoes now, it's a big step up for Arthur. It's a level that he hasn't really played before, but I think he's more than ready to obviously take that step up to a championship side and be a consistent performer and a regular performer in this division. As well, you're looking at how reliable he has been in goal for Wrexham. I have no doubt in my mind that he will obviously cherish and take that step up with ease in the championship this season with us. And I think if you're looking at his stats last season in League One, 19 clean sheets, 23 goals conceded, 82 saves, one of the highest save percentages in League One last season. I'm sure we'll see a lot more of this in goal from Arthur Okonkwo this season, but again, this is probably the easiest choice I had to make. Right wing back, I've gone Ryan Barney. Now, it was a very tough choice between Barney and of course our January signing Ryan Longman, and I think it's a good problem to have, of course, having two really good players down that right hand side who carry similar attributes and can carry as well a similar threat going forward in this Wrexham team. But I think Barney just pips it for me just because of how much of a big part he played last season for Wrexham, and how when he wasn't in the team we did kind of miss his attacking threat and his chance creation going down that right hand side. If you're looking at his stats as well, 61 chances created, 15 of those were big chances, which saw him create the third amount of big chances in League One last season, and you think he barely started a game towards the final 10-15 games of the season due to Ryan Longman's performances. So I think having Barnett back in that starting 11 is going to be massive, especially in a game like Southampton where they're going to limit us to very few amount of chances, and if we are going to obviously score a goal in that game, we're going to need that moment of magic and we're going to need that good quality service, and I think Barney can definitely provide that for us. I think as well you're looking with the signings of Josh Windas up front, Kefir Moore up front, who's going to be a big target man, getting on the end of those crosses. If he wants to score goals, he's going to need that good service, and Barnett can put in a really good cross, as we've seen so many times last season in a Wrexham shirt. And I think as well you're looking at Windas, Hardy and Moore. I think they're all going to get the best out of Barnett in terms of improving his assist output and his chance creation, because if we're getting those strikers that can score the goals, Barnett is going to obviously get a lot more assists to his name. And I think his, like I said, chance creation, his creativity is something we kind of missed last season under Longman. So I think a fresh start for Barnett this season in a higher league, I think he's more than capable of making that step up, and I would like to see him start at right wing back. And the first centre back on the right hand side, Max Cleworth. Now, another really easy selection. Max is destined for the very top of English football, maybe even world football. You could go one step further, because he's 22 years old and he looks like a proper quality player, and I think by the end of the season there'll be a lot of talk about him. He's developed really well over his time at Wrexham in a very short amount of time. You know, we remember his like sort of breakout season, his first appearance in August 2021 away at Solihull. We were thinking, oh my god, who is this youngster in the defence? But ever since then he's really took on that centre back role really well and made it his own, and obviously not let anyone take it off him over the past couple of seasons, and he just makes everything look so effortless. And at times, you know, he's just been probably our best player last season in my opinion, and the amount of times as well he's pocketed proven EFL strikers is an absolute joke how good Max Cleworth is at still such a very young age. And I think out of the whole team he's probably going to be the only player that could go up and up and up and make it look just so effortless. The middle centre-back, I've gone for Conor Cody, our latest recruit in obviously the squad for the upcoming Championship season. Now, given his Championship pedigree and experience, not only in the Championship but the Premier League on the international stage, I think Parky is going to opt for Conor Cody over the likes of Owen O'Connell. I do think it'll be a closer call between Conor Cody and Dan Scarr, two players I'm really fond of, and I think Dan Scarr for me should be in this starting 11, but you're looking at the competition that's already there in that spot. It's a good problem to have, like I said, but again, I do think Conor Cody is going to start in the middle of the back three, and I think having a player of his experience, his calibre, his just sort of composure at the back is going to be really vital for the likes of Max Cleworth and Lewis Brunt, two youngsters which I think will play big roles this season. Having a mentor like Conor Cody in between them and having an experienced head, I think is going to be really beneficial, not only for their development but also their performances across the board of this season. And the third and final centre-back, Lewis Brunt. Again, it was tough between Brunt and Dan Scarr, but I do think Lewis Brunt is one of those players that went massively under the radar for the second half of last season. I don't think that's anything for his fault. I think it was just the fact that the whole team just really clicked the switch last season and everyone was getting applauded. You look at Ollie Rathbone, Sam Smith coming in. It's really easy for fans obviously to look at the players and enjoy the players that are scoring the goals, creating the chances, but you're looking at Lewis Brunt, who was a rock at the back in the second half of the season. He looked so comfortable as time went on. Remember his debut away at Sheffield United, I remember watching him thinking, what have we brought here? But again, he's just contributed heavily to the team's success in the second half of the season. Looked so composed on the ball, grew so much in confidence, of course, as he got more minutes in that starting 11 for us. And I do think he's one of those players, like many of the young players in this team, that are more than capable of making the step up to the Championship this season. I think he will be a big player for us. Left wing back, I've gone for Libby Kakachi. Now, there is so much hype about Kakachi coming into the club from Serie B team in Poli, and to be honest, I can see Kakachi living up to the expectation. We've seen him make a couple of cameos in pre-season already. You're looking at him as a wing-back. He's so attacking minded, loves to take on his man, will provide good service, whether it be from crosses or cutbacks to the strikers. I think he's going to have that good knowledge of where the strikers are going to be in that box. Of course, his service is going to be something we'll massively notice over the course of the season. You're looking at him as well, not playing in England before. It might take him a few games to adapt to English football, but again, I don't think it will take him too long given the quality and the calibre of the player he is. And I think overall he's a great investment from the football club, a bargain for £4 million. Still got 10-15 years left of his career, and I think one that will excite a lot of fans this season. If you're looking at his game style, he's going to get us off his seats hopefully and record many assists in a Wrexham shirt. Going on to the midfield, this was really tough. My first selection is Matty James. Now again, a few of you might disagree with me at home, but I think Matty James's experience and his quality on the ball has gone very underappreciated at his time at Wrexham, and I think it will continue to go underappreciated over the course of this season. I don't think he does get the plaudits he deserves because he's not that type of midfielder. He's not the one that's going to score the goals going forward, be that creative spark. He just does what he does really well. He keeps the midfield ticking, he holds the structure of the midfield really well. And I do think if we were to see Matty James out of the midfield, take for last season example, I do think we'd have seen a difference in structure and possibly a lack of structure, because I think he just does his job really well. I think of course his age, he's not the fastest of players. We've seen it last season. He did get caught out a couple of times on the counter-attack. And I do think that will happen maybe 2 or 3 times this season. But if you've got the players around him that can bring the intensity, bring the tempo, do the tracking back, the Lewis O'Briens, Ollie Rathbone, then I don't think it's a big issue at all. But I think having a player of his quality, experience, IQ is going to be big for us this season. He's very good on the ball. Second midfielder, Lewis O'Brien, our summer signing now. Going into a big opening game, we need someone of his quality and experience already that he's gained in the Championship coming into this game, because Southampton are going to give us a really big test. They're going to want to give us that introduction to the Championship that I'm sure a lot of fans looking at this from the outside will want us to be given. I don't think people want us to go in and win this game. I think Southampton will be looking to put 3 or 4 goals past us. But having a player like Lewis O'Brien in that midfield, who is a really quality Championship player, who'll be coming up against possibly Premier League Championship quality players, is going to be big. He'll bring obviously that box-to-box midfielder, plenty of running, and I'm visioning it now. I can see something happening for Lewis O'Brien on Saturday. Maybe a goal, maybe an assist, who knows, but he would be my second midfielder on the team sheet. Centre attack midfielder, I've gone for Josh Windas. I can see Phil Parkinson opting for Josh Windas playing in that front two and having that approach to having a bit more of a defensive minded midfield, but I think you're looking at Josh Windas, of course, this is my opinion, this is my team selection. I think having a player of his creativity will be maximised if he's playing in that slightly deeper role in central attack midfield. Of course, we've got so many options to play up front that I think we can afford to play him in that central attack midfield role. We've seen him drop deep a lot in pre-season, pick up the ball, spread it out to the channels, and I think that's when we're going to see the best out of Josh Windas in a Wrexham shirt. And if you're looking at this game solely alone, we're going to need those moments of magic, and I do think Josh Windas can definitely provide that. He created plenty of chances in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt, and I think he'll bring that over to obviously the Wrexham squad. And if we do play him in that central attack midfield role, it'll allow him to pick up the ball, drive forward with it, of course, create that chance, and we know he's got a great eye for goal, and he'll have plenty of room, hopefully on the edge of the box, to fire one on target. Moving on to the strikers now, my first striker, I've gone for Kefir Moore. I've thrown him in the deep end. Will Phil Parkinson play him after only being with the club for a few days? We really don't know, but I would love to see Kefir Moore just get thrown straight into the mix. Get him up top, get him being a nuisance, and just get him doing what he does best as a striker, and that is just to bully the defence, bully the back line, unease them. And of course, we're looking at their back line, they're going to be very, very strong. So having a player like Kefir Moore, who will ruffle a few feathers, might obviously cause an injury to their defender, but I think it will be great. It will be great to have him up top over the course of the season. I think his presence will be massive for us, and I think in a game like this, a big opener with his experience and his, like I said, being a nuisance up front is going to be big for us. And the second striker now, it could have been anyone, but I've gone for Ryan Hardy. Like I said, it could have been Sam Smith, it could have been Ryan Hardy, but I've gone for Hardy just because of his style of play and his work rate up front, which I think we're going to need against this calibre of opposition. I think his constant running up top, of course, chasing every lost ball. Again, I think we'll just unease the Southampton defence, chasing the flick-ons that Kefir Moore will provide to him. I just think we expect a lot from Ryan Hardy this season. Of course, looking at his stats from last season, I expect goals from him, and I think if he's got the right player to play up front with him this season in the Championship, he is going to score goals and we will have plenty of chances for him. Yeah, and I think it's pretty obvious in terms of what we can expect from Ryan Hardy in the games this season, and if we are to get him just being that constant runner up front against a Southampton team, which I think are going to have a lot more of the ball than us, but if we can minimise that by having his press up front and uneasing the defence, like I keep on saying, I think it's going to be a big bonus for us, and let's hope he can make an early big statement to the Wrexham fans by getting on the score sheet. So that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like. I would love to hear your starting 11 in the comment section down below. Some massive names that played a big role for us last season I don't have in this starting 11. I think that's testament to the recruitment that we've made this season. Imagine if we bring a player like Nathan Broadhead into the mix. He is going to have a big headache when it comes to picking a starting 11 week in, week out. But this season, I think we can afford to mix things up a bit on the odd occasions because we'll have so much quality in every area of the pitch. It's going to be an exciting season. Roll on Southampton away. Make sure to subscribe, like, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in another video. Take care, guys. Up the town.